Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine, brought to you by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Time to shine light on Navy men's golf this week. Patriot League championships are at hand. Please be joined by last year's second team All-Patriot League performer Nicholas Klock. And Nick, let's go back to the fall for a moment. We all watch golf. We watch the Ryder Cup format. We know how exciting it can be, especially out there when it's mano a mano. The fact that that match against Army goes to a playoff and you end up making the winning shot that allows your team to hang a star in a year where Navy has gone on to have unprecedented success. You wouldn't have known it at the time. Just what did that moment mean to you as a senior, knowing how important it is to beat Army and win a star?
It's hard to explain. So obviously the last, I think it was 4 years, we had really struggled against Army, especially down the stretch. A lot of really close matches that just didn't go our way. And so we had worked really hard all fall to try to correct some of those issues we had had in previous star matches with them. And so to reap the benefits as a team was so incredible. And especially for our class, we really made it a prerogative for us to go out there and to play our best and to give it our all. And the fact that, you know, our class greatly contributed to our winning effort, as well as the younger classes that kind of, you know, their efforts in that match as well should not go unsung either. Had some plebes stepping up and making putts. Had a second class Keegan Shreves go out and have a match against their captain, their best player. So on the singles day. So that feeling was incredible, and it most certainly made our fall.
I was going to say, as a senior, does it mean that much more? Because you had mentioned the struggles and the close calls without defeating Army, but just being a senior and knowing that leadership means so much at this institution, did it mean just a little bit more to be able to deliver that not only for your class, but for your team?
Yeah, no, it does mean a lot. And I think that any other firstie at the academy who's on a varsity sport or non-varsity sport that plays Army knows that it means more as well, just because of that leadership quality that we all have and that we've all been working on and developing over the last 4 years. And so being able to come back last semester as a firstie and kind of fill those roles that the firsties before us had come and been able to faithfully execute, and then do that effectively and come away with a star, it means more than anything you could feel as a college golfer, I personally believe. So
you guys have been idle since April 12th. What's been the challenge over the last couple of weeks to remain tournament ready, to remain, competition ready, despite the fact that you guys haven't had anything from a competition standpoint since April the 12th?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. Obviously, a lot of the guys wish we could be playing more tournaments and stuff like that. That's obviously a given. But I think in hindsight, we're going to look back at this time that we've had off from playing in tournaments, and we're going to look back on it positively. We've had a lot of time with coach getting one-on-one help in specific areas. We've had our strength coach, Dave Maloney, come in multiple times, help with, flexibility, mobility, stuff like that. Also kind of helping us with our swings and getting some stuff dialed in for this upcoming weekend. So that off time has given us a lot of opportunities to improve where we saw that we were lacking in the first 3 tournaments. And I think that going into this weekend, all of us have a lot more confidence in our games and our abilities than we did, say, 2.5, 3 weeks ago when we played our last tournament.
What's the money club in Nick Klock's bag?
Money club. Well, honestly, when I'm playing well, it's the putter.
Now, that's usually the money club too. So
yeah, that's usually my club that kind of gets me out of some trouble and helps me put together good rounds. But I like to think that when I got a wedge in my hand as well, I should be trying to make a birdie. but just trying to get that mindset, start speaking things into existence a few days out. But how about every club is the money club? How about that?
There you go. Steel Club, what challenges does that present? You and Chad, I know, sat it out up there a couple of weeks ago. Just some other guys could get into the rotation and have a chance to play the course. But what challenges does the Steel Club present to you guys for the Patriot League tournament?
Yeah, so the Steel Club's an interesting track. It's not very long, so compared to some of the other courses we had played at the beginning of the season, say down in Augusta and down in Sawgrass, those were longer golf courses at or over 7,000 yards, which is pretty standard for a college event. But the Steel Club runs well under that. So length is definitely not going to be a problem, which is great. But it definitely makes it unique. It's a very unique challenge. It's a Donald Ross design, so the greens are very punishing. And they're going to stick some pins in some places where you have to be precise and you have to miss in the correct places. So course management will be a huge part of this weekend. Scoring on the par fives is going to be paramount. So making sure you take advantage of those par fives when you get to them. They're not very long. They're very scoreable. So you got to make birdies on those holes. And just kind of keeping the ball in front of you. You can get in trouble out there, missing fairways, going into those smaller, more undulated greens. So you need to make sure you're in good position off the tee, even if that means sacrificing some yardage. So I would say the course management and just kind of keeping your golf ball in front of you and in play is going to be our greatest challenge coming into the weekend.
Just like any other team sport, the individual and their participation and how they play is so important to team success. What's that dynamic like, though, in golf, where, certainly for the plebes, you can, kind of give them a little bit of, hey, this is what it's going to be like in a Patriot League tournament. But otherwise, how does that team dynamic come together in a sport that demands individual excellence?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, you'll be at practice and like, obviously we all want to do well individually, but at the same time, we all have that in the back of our head. Like, it doesn't matter how I do necessarily as long as the team does well, right? So we're all very unselfish in that regard, which is, I would say, unique to college golf. College golf is very individual based, especially at higher levels. But we do a very good job like helping each other out. If a guy comes over, and this happens quite a bit, asks me to look at their putting stroke, I gladly do it and give them all the pointers I can. There are times when I go and ask people, like, say Keegan or Chad, about, stuff, the way my golf swing looks, and guys will be taking videos of each other, just kind of looking at numbers and all that kind of stuff. So I think in terms of the individual aspect of it, it's important that, you play your own game and you're not focused on what the other guys are doing. But at the same time, there isn't a desire for any of us to necessarily beat the other person, right? We all want each other to succeed. We all, if I get 20th place this weekend and say anyone on the team wins and we win, I could not care less. Our main goal is to win as a team. And so, and I think that there's a mutual understanding on the team about that. And I think that that's what makes us successful at times.
A couple of fun ones on the way out here. You get together for a foursome. Who are your other three players?
I get asked this question a bit, but sometimes it's kind of harder to think about on the spot. I would probably say Phil Mickelson's definitely one. I know he's kind of controversial right now, but I'm going to stick with Phil. He's my all-time favorite, so I'll say him. Tom Watson. I actually went to the same high school as Tom Watson when I lived in Kansas City, so I've met him several times, and he's just a great citizen in Kansas City, and also just a great role model in general, and was a fantastic golfer. And then I would just say whoever the present United States president is. So right now, Joe Biden. So kind of playing golf with important people, playing golf with people I look up to, and kind of a good mix there, I feel like.
A good one with Tom Watson, my favorite golfer of all time. Finally, the Masters allows its champion to pick a dinner menu. If you win the Masters, what would be your champion's dinner menu?
Yeah, so this has actually been a topic of conversation among the team for the last few weeks. When we went down to Augusta, we got to go to the Masters practice round the Monday after our tournament, and so we were all wondering what Hideki was going to serve for his Champions Dinner. I've heard some really good proposals, but I would probably have to say the appetizer would be buffalo chicken dip. I think that's easy for me. That's like my favorite appetizer ever. And then for the entree, definitely going to do a New York strip steak. Huge fan of that. Maybe do like a side Caesar salad, some asparagus, and then maybe a crab cake on the side and an ode to Maryland since I've been here the last 4 years. And then dessert, just plain and simple vanilla ice cream and a warm brownie. I think that would be pretty good for me.
That'd be a pretty solid menu. And ironically, Justin Thomas, who's from Texas, said that the beef that Hideki Matsuyama chose was better than some of the Texas beef that he usually eats. So he said he'd probably get in trouble for that. That tells you how good the beef was in Hideki's menu for his Champions Dinner. Nick, appreciate the time. Awesome stuff. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend as you all try to win a Patriot League championship. Thanks for the time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.